Geraldine B. Olivay, and set B. I will present the function and parts of the computer. My teacher the subject is Sir Dalit. And okay, go. Let's start. PS2 and the mouse and the keyboard parallel, serial, BGA, and the USB port, LAN port, tama ba? And the audio port. This is a IDE connector, memory slot, CPU fan and heatsink mounting points, 24-pin power connector. This is a heatsink and the north bridge, AGP slot, PCI slot, and the south bridge. And this is a CMOS battery slots. And the floppy connector. There are many parts in the motherboard like capacitor and the inductor and the IC and ito yan. Motherboard parts and function. Getting to know your hardware. The motherboard is one of the most important parts of the PC, but as a teach of the enthusiast, you probably already know that what you might not know. Truth is the role played by each chip, part of slot present on a motherboard. A lot of people simply don't care about this aspect, but if you're all that do it yourself type, knowing everything there is to know when it comes to motherboard can help you when it comes to troubleshooting, upgrading, or even building your own PC. Despite the latter operation already being simple if you take this online course on how to build a computer. Processor socket. The processor socket is the central piece of a motherboard, usually being located near the center of the motherboard. It's also the central piece because it's holds the processors, the brain of your computer. Go. Power connectors. No computer components can operate without power, and a motherboard is no exception. The power connector, commonly a 20 or 20-pin connector, can be situated either near the right edge of the motherboard or somewhere close to the processor socket on older motherboards. This is where the power supply connector gets attached, providing power to the motherboard and all the other components. Newer motherboards have an additional 4-pin or 8-pin connector near the processors used to supply additional power directly to the processor. Memory slots located in the upper right part of the motherboard. The memory slots are used to house the computer's memory modules. The number of slots can vary depending on the motherboard, from 2 and low-end motherboards all the way up to 8 memory slots on high-end and gaming motherboards. It is important to pay close attention to the type of memory a motherboard supports in order to buy the appropriate memory modules. Newer motherboards support DDR3 memory, the current industry standards memory architecture, but motherboards with DDR2 memory slots and even DDR1 memory slots are still present on the market. An interesting aspect is that there are some older motherboards models that support the different types of memory, and usually comes with 2 DDR1 memory slots and memory slots and 2 DDR2 memory slots are 2 DDR2 slots and 2 DDR3 slots. These motherboards were great option for people that wanted to upgrade a motherboard without having to upgrade all the other components as well. The number of memory slots should be an important consideration to take into account when choosing motherboard, as it will determine the maximum amount of memory you can install. You may plan to take an online course to learn video editing or learn 3D modeling and retiring from the design course. Do you really want to be limited by your motherboard? Video card slot. This is the type of slot that doesn't need an explanation, as its name doesn't leave much room for interpretation as to what its role is. Coming in this form as of a PCI Express slot on newer motherboards or AGP on older ones, the video card slot is situated right below the processor. It is not uncommon for older motherboards, especially those that target the office segment, to lack this slot, meaning that you won't be able to install a discrete video cards that having a thoroughly on the integrated one. At the opposite pole, high-end gaming motherboards comes with multiple video and slot, allowing the installation of multiple video cards and SLI or crossfire configuration. Expansion slot. Expansions have the role of letting you install additional components to enhance or expand the functionality of your PC. You install a TV toner, a video capture card, a better sound card, etc. ID and SATA ports. ID and SATA ports are used to provide connectivity for the storage device and optical drives. BIOS chip and battery. The BIOS chips contain the basic code needed to take your computer through the boot process up to the point where the operating system takes over. Since the BIOS code is stored on a memory chip that needs constant power to function, a battery is also present to keep the chip powered when the computer is unplugged. North bridge and south bridge. If you have a look at your motherboard, chances are you'll see a square metal component somewhere in the lower right parts of the board. This metal component is actually a heatsink, and its role is to provide thermal protection for north bridge of one of the most important components of a motherboard. Back panel connector, USB headers, and audio header. The back panel connector is where all the elements present on the back of your case are connected.